Hi everyone, this is Paul here speaking. Today I'm going to be discussing the winter solstice because we have that happening on the 21st, and this is a really important time of year for everyone. Obviously in the northern hemisphere we have the winter solstice, in the southern hemisphere they have the summer solstice, but whenever there's a solstice in the year it's a time to be still and reflect somewhat. That's what solstice means. Sol means sun, and this bit comes from sister, which means to stand still. So this time of the year, the sun reaches its lowest latitude in the sky, and it stops moving, and it will stay there for about 3 days before doing its return journey northwards. Now, for us in the northern hemisphere, is a time where we need to reflect. The sun's moving into Capricorn, and what this means is it's a shift from trying to figure out what our vision is to developing our integrity. What I mean by integrity here is that the personal or the public face that we show is identical to our personal self. So we're not wearing a mask of falseness, we're not doing something which isn't aligned with who we are. What we're doing is merely an outward reflection of what's happening on inside of us. Now, one of the issues with Capricorn is control, and the main area where we can come unstuck is if that control gets applied to our emotions to the point where we suppress them. So what we need to remember this time is we need to remain engaged with our emotions, because they are a guide. They allow us to tap into the wisdom that our hearts provide us, and to make sure that whatever we're doing feels right for us. We're not just filling a hole or filling a niche in someone else's dream. We're actually doing something that resonates with us and is true to who we are. Because if we don't do that, then yeah, we can become successful. It's not that you have to be true to yourself in order to be successful, but if you want that success to feel meaningful and to really make you stand tall and strong and happy with what we're doing, then we have to make sure that whatever we're doing is aligned with who we are. So the previous 9 months since the spring equinox has all been about collecting experiences, merging them together to get a deeper understanding of who we are, and to scrape off some of the old conditioning that guided our sense of identity before, so that we can get a better idea of who we really are. And Capricorn is the point where there's a lot of pressure to conform with what everybody else is doing, so it's not always easy to try and figure out who we are when we've got all this social pressure to be something that we're not. And yeah, we can follow that pressure and follow the crowd for so long, but the longer we do it, more empty we feel over time. So with the winter solstice, it's look back at everything that we've gathered in the past 9 months, but also figure out what do we want to do in the future. This is really time to prepare for the next spring equinox in March. So who are we? What is our personal destiny? Now, this isn't necessarily going to be some grand view that affects the entire world in a physical sense, but we all have our own personal niche in life. We all have our gifts that need to be channeled into a specific area in our lives, and each person's gifts are going to be different. We can't apply the same standards or assess everyone by the same means, because we all have different forms of intelligence, we all have different gifts, we're not all meant to be doing the same thing. And by figuring out who we are and what our gifts are, then we can create something where we operate at our highest potential. And once we do that, it puts us in a strong position where we can actually start giving back to people and sharing our gifts. But we have to go through the test of Capricorn first, which is integrity. Can we stay true to ourselves no matter what pressure we have come from society to be something that doesn't feel fulfilling, doesn't make us feel happy? So this is really a good time for you to just completely slow down, and this time we have Mercury retrograde at the same time. So again, the emphasis is on reflection and awareness looking at what messages are we receiving that we may have ignored so far, which highlight where we're not necessarily being true to ourselves, we're not maintaining our integrity, and where we need to make changes in our lives at the physical level in order to become more in tune with who we are. Because if we're not in tune with who we are, things can start getting a bit chaotic, and the more we try to control it, the harder it gets for us. So there comes a point where we just have to say, right, enough, I can't maintain this mask or this persona that society wants me to carry all the time. I need to start removing these masks and figuring out who am I underneath all this stuff, and how can I express who I am in the best way that's going to bring gifts forth, isn't going to hurt anyone. So by being true to ourselves, we should not become arrogant or egotistic in the process. We need to remain humble at all times. We need to remember kindness opens doors for opportunities a lot. We may have had the opposite message, that we have to manipulate people to get what we want, but those times are ending. We can't just pursue our own selfish interests now. We have to start coming together in groups and tribes, and each person needs to raise their own game up and get more in tune with who they are, to figure out what gifts can we bring to our communities in order to share them and raise everyone else upwards at the same time. It's not a dog-eat-dog thing at all. It's not about scarcity. It's about abundance. Because if we maintain an attitude of love, maintain an attitude of self-belief, and the belief that no matter what happens, as long as we stay true to ourselves, whatever we need will come to us to help us fulfill our visions. And as long as we maintain faith that no matter how many obstacles seem to be thrown in our way, these obstacles aren't there to get us to stop. They're there to test our mettle. They're there to see, do you still have faith when this crutch over here is removed from you? Do you still believe that you have the capacity to do something when something you've been relying on up to this point is suddenly removed from us? So this is the true test of faith. We cultivate it in Sagittarius. The Capricorns, where it really gets tested and sees, are we who we say we are? Are we true to ourselves? Are we honest? Do we maintain our integrity? Do we try and fulfill our dreams without hurting others? Do we maintain love no matter how hard the journey gets? Because we have to experience these challenges. It may not feel pleasant, but if we don't experience any challenges in life, we just cannot grow. It's as simple as that. You can't get a lean body if you don't put any work in. You have to do the work and have the patience to persist with it, no matter how hard it may feel, because the rewards will come on the other side of that hard work. Yes, some things come to us by grace, but the things that are truly meaningful in life, that really make us feel good, give us a solid sense of self-worth, are the things that manifest through hard work over a prolonged period of time, where we've put the effort in to get to where we are. We haven't just had it handed to us on the plate. We've actually learnt, we've become more in tune with who we are. We have more self-belief that no matter what challenge is thrown our way, we can figure out how to address that challenge and keep moving forwards. And we also need to think about what dreams do we have that we may have put on the back burner, that are true to who we are, but we didn't necessarily have the skills in the past in order to fulfill our dreams. But what we've done in the past 9 months may well have helped cultivate the skills and attitudes needed to fulfill that dream. So we all have our own personal dreams, and there's nothing wrong with pursuing those dreams, as much as we may get the opposite message from society, because we're expected to conform to the status quo and not challenge anything. But if we always conform, we'll never know what we're capable of doing. We'll never figure out what gifts lie within us that we can bring to the forefront and radiate them out to other people, so that those people are also lifted up and start believing in themselves and become more self-empowered. Because that's what the cycle of the zodiac is all about. It's self-empowerment and self-understanding. it's gathering all these experiences rather than just sitting back and expecting everything to be delivered to us on the plate. It's all there. We have to cultivate these virtues within us, like patience, self-control, perseverance in the face of obstacles, because when we can do this, nothing can stop us. And as long as we remember that, then we will have the faith and the courage to keep pursuing our dreams no matter what challenges come our way. And we also need to be open to the help of others who are trying to operate in the same vision as ourselves, because it's by working together in integrity and harmony with one another that some of the greatest rewards and greatest achievements can be met. Some things are done on an individual basis, but some of the truly meaningful ones are where we've shared a journey with other people and we're now working together as a cohesive unit, bringing each person's individual gifts to the forefront so that each person can operate at their highest potential. So I hope that's been a useful indication of what the winter solstice is a gift for. So just spend a bit of time in meditation, figuring out what gifts do you have, what do we want to do with these gifts, how can we help other people with these gifts, and what changes can we make in our lives that are more in tune with who we are without rushing it. There's no point rushing into it because there'll be information that we haven't received yet which will give us a more accurate indication of what to do. So be patient, relax during the solstice and just reflect on what we want to do. And as long as we do this and are honest with ourselves rather than being all grandiose and big-headed, then a new vision will start to manifest in our lives, as long as we keep taking the actions necessary to keep it going forward and doesn't stall. So I hope it's been helpful, and I hope this winter solstice brings many blessings and many gifts for your awareness that you can then use going forward. So take care, bye.